Am I the asshole for not hiding tampon trash at work? I started my period earlier today while at work. No big deal, I put in a tampon and threw the wrapper and applicator into the mostly empty, medium-sized trash can. No lid, without thinking twice about it. Then I just got back to my job. 2 hours later, the only other woman on this floor came into my office and told me I had left the tampon wrapper and applicator out in the open, and that anyone could see that. She also said I need to be more discreet because it is a mixed bathroom. I immediately thought her comment was rude, but a friend pointed out she might have thought she was helping by letting me know. Still, I don't think there's any need to hide perfectly normal trash. If it were an actual used tampon, I would wrap it for sanitary and smell reasons, but this was just small bits of plastic in the trash can. I grew up in a house full of sisters, and my fiancé is very chill about menstruation. I've heard of men being weird about periods, but I've never personally experienced it. Another friend suggested I go to HR to make a statement and verify what's expected, but I feel like that's over the top. I'm more inclined to just fume about it for the rest of the day and move on without changing how I throw away things. Too long did not read. I don't hid my tampon wrapper and applicator in trash at work. Not the asshole. You put it in the trash. You didn't leave it out in the open. What did she expect you to do? Stick your hand in and put other trash over it? You don't know what's in the trash can, nor should you find out. Not the asshole. Women menstruate, everyone knows it. This woman needs to back off. As a guy who might used a mixed bathroom, I'm not analyzing what is on top of the trash can. I'm not even really looking in it except to make sure my trash hits it. And there are better things HR should be doing than coming up with a policy on trash in a shared bathroom. Out in the open in the trash can? Is there a recommended amount of coverage for this trash to be covered by other trash before it's acceptable? How deep is this person digging in the trash in this scenario? How often do they dig through the trash? Why do they feel the need to be looking into the trash? Not the asshole, but I'm really sorry, I have no idea what you should do here. I don't think HR is a good option. HR is just looking to avoid liability for the company. Not the asshole. You need to seize this opportunity to leave increasingly peculiar and inappropriate items in the bathroom wastebasket. Empty Dorito bags, condom wrappers, STI pamphlets, spent tubes of hemorrhoid cream, torn men's underpants. Not the asshole. You didn't leave it on her desk. You put it in the trash, where it belongs. Anyone looking through the trash deserves whatever they see. I'm more inclined to just fume about it for the rest of the day and move on without changing how I throw away things. This is the correct response. Though I don't think periods are shameful, I as a woman do think you should put the applicator in the wrapper. I don't think you need to hide the wrapper more because at the end of the day someone has to empty the garbage, and even in my own home I wrap my applicator. Again, not the wrapper. Am I the asshole for telling my wife I need her to back up my parenting? I, 29M, have 3 kids. My oldest daughter will be 5 in April, my son is 3, and I have a newborn daughter who is 2 weeks old right now. My oldest, let's call her Alice, has always preferred me, daddy's girl, since the very beginning. She was a bit jealous when her brother was born, but ultimately was too little to really understand and it just kind of blew over. This time, not so much. Ever since the baby came home, Alice has been attached to my side literally and figuratively. Monsters always appear in her closet whenever I'm taking care of the baby, monsters that only I can get rid of. Apparently I'm magic that way. Alice wants to be carried everywhere, and won't go to sleep unless I rock her in the rocking chair. When she woke up one morning and saw me giving the baby a bottle, she got upset and tried to shove her way onto my lap. I asked my wife for help with the situation. I explained that I don't want to be bad cop every time Alice is clinging to me or demanding something, like the carry me tantrums, so I'd really appreciate it if she'd back me up a verbal warning, or helping me remove Alice from my leg. She got mad at me for this. She said that she's got a lot on her plate already, doesn't think she needs to get involved in this. And that we don't need to make a fuss over a phase that's going to go away eventually. Apparently she thinks I should just handle this myself for now. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to back up my parenting? You are the asshole. Your wife has a 2-week-old newborn. Cold sweat smile. This isn't the same as you having a newborn. Newborns are hyper-dependent on their mothers. Your wife is carrying 90% of the weight with the newborn. I agree with her. She has way too much on her plate. Handle this yourself. You are the asshole for the following. 1. Lying, manipulating. You are not asking her to back up your parenting. You are asking her to be the bad cop and wrestle your child off you because you cannot be bothered to set reasonable limits re your time and body with your daughter. 2. Extreme lack of care for your wife's physical injuries. A woman who gave birth 2 weeks ago has a wound the size of a dinner plate inside her. Not to mention strained ligaments and torn genitals. And you want her to wrestle your daughter off you? Wow. 3. Treating your wife like a subordinate. This jealousy issue, like most parenting issues, is not you decide the right course of action, and your wife implements your rules. She is the other, an equal parent, NP a subordinate you can order around. You are the asshole. Your wife has just had a baby, and like you said she's a daddy's girl so she's gonna listen to you. Yes, you have to be the bad guy sometimes, it can't always be your wife. Like you said it blew over last time, and it's also expected as it's another baby and a big change. She's only a baby herself, it's hard for her to understand. You are the asshole. You want your wife to discipline Alice for her attachment to you? That makes no sense. You say you don't always want to be the bad guy, but it seems like you never want to be the bad guy. If Alice goes to you and demands attention, there is a reason. You're the one giving it to her. Your wife is already backing up your request by not giving in to Alice's demands for attention. Now it's your turn to do your part and do the same. Sounds like you just love being the favorite parent and don't want to risk anything by telling Alice no, so would prefer your wife intervene in your relationship with your daughter. This is on you, my dude. Wait, tell Alice no? It sounds like you want your wife to be the bad guy and you are the pushover. Is Alice perhaps interested in having a baby of her own to do copy the things you do with the baby at the same time? Would it be possible to turn it into a play where you are showing her how to take care of her baby while taking care of yours? Her jealousy is normal as she feels she has competition for your attention as you now have another daughter. Am I the asshole? I'm 17F and got detention for not letting a 14F sit on my lap? So, I'm 17F and I stand at around 5 feet 4-ish. My best friend, 17M, stands at 6 feet 0-ish, and we normally ride the bus together after school, on days when my older brother can't pick us up. My bus is normally overcrowded, and people tend to bring their friends on my bus, which causes it to be more overcrowded than normal. One of the girls who rides on my bus got on a bit late, and there wasn't any seats left on the bus. The guys in the back tried to tell her to sit on the floor, when the bus driver told her to sit with me and my friend. I have crippling anxiety and physical touch isn't something that works well with my brain, unless you are my best friend. I've heard people suggest that this girl is autistic, but me and my friend don't have room in our seat. Especially when we have backpacks on too. The assistant principal gets on, and suggests that this girl sits in my lap? She's a stranger, and also 14. That's weird, and I'm not comfortable with that, and neither is my friend. We both say no, and end up getting kicked off the bus, and we both got detention. But, did I really make the wrong decision telling the assistant principal that I don't want a random 14-year-old sitting on my lap? Why couldn't they have asked somebody else to let her sit in their lap? I don't think anyone would have said yes, and does that mean they'd give our entire bus detention? I'm happy with the decision I made, but I've been made feel like I made the wrong choice, and now I'm unsure. Should I have let her sit? Was I the a-hole? Not the asshole. Bring this up with your parents and have them talk to the principal about this. Suggesting students lap up is wildly inappropriate, especially from a vice principal, not to mention very unsafe. If buses get overcrowded like this often, then something is wrong with this school and administration. Contact the school board. Tell them the whole story. What they did to you is very wrong, and they need to be disciplined for it. If the school board doesn't agree with you, then tell them you're going to contact an attorney and see what the law says about it. You do not make teenagers sit in each other's laps. That's absolutely fucking insane. These writing exercises get less believable by the day. Not the asshole, that's weird for them to suggest that. But if she is autistic, I'd apologize to her because it probably was embarrassing for that poor girl to be put in the spotlight like that. Not your fault, it's the principal's, but still. I cannot speak for your country's laws, but in mine, that would be breaking the law, for someone to be sitting on someone else's legs. If there was an accident, the 14-year-old would have gone flying. Not the asshole. Have your parents report this to the school board. Am I the asshole for refusing to adjust our custody schedule for my ex's job? My ex-husband and I share custody of our 5 kids, ages 8 to 16, on a week-on-per-week-off schedule, as per our divorce decree. This arrangement has worked well, especially since I started my own massage therapy business last year. However, my ex frequently demands to switch to a 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off schedule because he needs to travel out of state for work. He says it's too expensive to travel every weekend. To clarify, it's not a requirement for him to travel 2 weeks at a time. He's allowed to travel every other week. It just costs him more to travel 4 times a month instead of 2. For context, his income is 4 times mine. I make about $30,000 a year, and he pays $730 a month in child support and $550 in spousal support, though the spousal support will end in 1.5 years. However, I use the spousal support on the kids anyway to help cover their expenses. Finding and paying for last-minute childcare adds up quickly. I already work fewer hours on the weeks I have the kids, But I can't make up for it by working more hours on my off weeks. My body simply can't handle it. So every time he changes the plan, it disrupts my client schedule and forces me to either reschedule appointments, potentially losing clients, or find and pay for last-minute childcare. I've told him I need consistency for both my business and the kids, but he argues I should be more flexible because his job is demanding. On top of that, the kids don't like the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off arrangement. They are struggling as is with the week on per week off. They prefer to be with me, but there's nothing I can do about that. The 2 oldest begged to start therapy because of the stress their father causes them, so I got them into therapy. Now the 3rd oldest is begging to start therapy too. I worry that the constant changes are detrimental to their mental health and overall stability. He doesn't believe in mental health and doesn't want them in therapy, but I digress. I finally put my foot down and told him I won't keep adjusting the schedule. Now he's calling me selfish and says I'm not considering how hard he works to provide for the kids. I feel like I'm just protecting my business and the kids' mental health and stability. Am I the asshole? Just say no. His job is not more demanding or important than yours. You need your job to survive and properly care for your children. He is responsible for childcare needs on his weeks, like you are. Just say no. If he wants to change the schedule, he needs to go back to court. No judge is going to force you to incur additional costs and or lose your income to accommodate his changing schedule. He can travel every other week, he just wants you to take the hit instead of himself. Yeah, no. Not the asshole. Is that $730 per month for all 5 kids? In most cases, being flexible and accommodating is in everyone's best interest. You don't have to like the person to make it work. This is not one of those cases. What X is proposing will be disruptive for everyone but him. He's being selfish. Not the asshole, but you guys may have to take this to court to resettle the arrangements. Why isn't his work paying for his travel expenses? Go back to court. Let the kids and their therapist talk to the judge. The older ones are old enough. If he wants you to have the kids full-time, and he have 1 weekend a month, go for it. Then the judge can up the spousal support and the child support payments. Find childcare you can have a set schedule with. X needs to get with it. The kids' needs are more important than his wants. They need stability. Go back to court if you change your custody schedule. He should not expect you to pay for the costs of his changing schedule. $730 a month in child support is not enough for 5 kids. Not the asshole. Tell him you are not, going forward, amenable to change parenting time short of an actual emergency. And do yourself a favor, don't listen to the raging people below egging you to take him to court. Make the kids talk to the judge. You don't need to capitulate to his will here, but you also don't need to drag your kids into a court battle, especially teenagers, intentionally. If he files, he files. Otherwise, don't make threats, don't file anything, and do not ask your kids what they want. This is seen by many judges as an alienation tactic. I'm in family law, and will bite you in the rear. Simply state your position and move on, don't respond to repeated attempts. It's a business transaction, he asked, you said no. That's a full sentence.